Hello, I'm Susan Kennedy. Welcome to the Lightning Feather Poncho Crochet Along. Thank you for joining us. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to do part one of the crochet along. If you haven't watched the introduction video, you can go back and watch the introduction video I recorded. That shows the different kind of color options to choose and also the size options and the yarn requirements for each size. We're going to be using worsted weight yarn. I'm using Lion brand Pima cotton yarn. It's 100% cotton. It's medium weight category 4. So that's like a aran weight or worsted weight here. It has 186 yards or 170 meters per 100 grams. And I'll be using a 5.5 millimeter hook, my eye hook here, which is about half a millimeter bigger than what the yarn recommends. This recommends a 5 millimeter hook. I'm going up to 5.5 here just to give the poncho a nice drape. So the poncho is very simple construction. It's very boxy as it's meant to be, but it does have a nice drape if you go up a hook size from what your yarn recommends. So it's made of 2 rectangles. We have a front of the poncho and we have a back of the poncho. And we have a neck hole here. So we seam the front and back just by single crocheting those 2 rectangles together to form the shoulder seams. The front of the poncho is color work and it's reversible. It looks the same from both sides. And in part 2 of the pattern, I'll show you how to do these color work rows. So part 1, we're just going to work these first few rows. It's double crochet stitch in US terms. So I'll show you how to get started on those today. And then part 2 is the rest of the front. Part 3, we're going to work the poncho back, which is just a plain double crochet rectangle, and then do that joining the seams together with a single crochet, right, for a few stitches on each side, leaving that neck hole open. And then in part 4, we're going to put an edging on our joined front and back piece, where we'll cast on here and just do single crochet chain 1 all around. And also in part 4, we make this fun little lacing chain to join the front and the back of the poncho with this lightning inspired zigzag. This is just chains stitch cord. And then the final part, the finishing touch, is making these fun little macrame tassels with all the contrast colors to add on to the ends of the lacing cords. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait to see everybody wearing their ponchos. I love the one I made for myself. This one here is a small to medium size. The next size up is large to extra large, and then we have a 2X to 3X size and a 4X to 5X size. So the only thing that differs about those sizes is the number of rows we work before we start the motif, the number of rows we work after we start the motif, and then how wide the rectangle is. But the motif color work part of that's going to be the same for all of the sizes. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit and get started on part 1 of the pattern here. You can find the crochet along pattern on Bookmarked Hub, and we'll also be talking about the crochet along in my Facebook group, Pretty Peaceful People. And if you have any questions about the pattern, feel free to post in there, post your progress. Also, if you're posting pictures of your work, post on Instagram and use hashtag Crochet Southwest Spirit, and you'll be entered to win a book bundle from David and Charles and Bookmarked Hub. So thank you to them for sponsoring that giveaway. I can't wait to see everybody's work. So I'm using Lion brand Pima cotton in this colorway blueprint. And we're going to get started. So I'm going to put my yarn on the hook with a slip stitch, and then we basically just have to make a double crochet row. So you have 2 choices to start a row. You can either chain and then double crochet into those chains, or you can do a foundation double crochet stitch. Whatever you prefer. I usually do foundation double crochet because that's faster, but I'm going to chain today. So we're just going to start chaining with our 5 millimeter hook here. For the extra small to medium size, you will want to chain 89 stitches. For the large to extra large size, chain 105. For the 2X to 3X size, chain 117. And for the 4X to 5X size, chain 129. So however many you're chaining, this is how wide across your poncho will be. If you want to make it bigger, feel free to add on more stitches if you want a bigger size than 5X. So we'll keep chaining until you get to that number. And I guess I can tell you a little bit more about the sizes while we're chaining here. The extra small to medium size is intended to fit a 28 to 38 inch bust, which is 71 to 96.5 centimeter bust. It's a kind of a typical women's extra small to medium kind of clothing range, and we use the Craft Yarn Council standards for that. The large to extra large size is meant to fit a 40 to 46 inch bust, which is 101.5 to 117 centimeters. And that's the size I'm wearing in the introduction video, my black velvet one I made. It's like my Black Panther version, which I just really love. It's so cozy. The 2X to 3X size is meant to fit a 48 to 54 inch bust, which is 122 to 137 centimeters. And the 4X to 5X size is intended to fit a 56 to 62 inch chest, which is 142 to 158 centimeters. So if you're in between sizes, like for example, I'm kind of in between sizes with 38 inch chest, I recommend going up, sizing up, just because it's nice to have a relaxed fit and just make it really cozy and just kind of like a security blanket. Okay, so I've got my chains here for the extra small to medium size I'm making. I chained 89, and now I'm going to double crochet in the third chain from the hook, 1, 2, 3, and double crochet in each chain across. Just grab any loop of that chain. You can crochet into the kind of back bump of the chain if you want to, or just grab any loop of that chain. So after this first row, the extra small to medium size will have 87 double crochet stitches. The large to extra large size will have 103 double crochet stitches. The 2X to 3X size will have 115 double crochet stitches. And the 4X to 5X size will have 127 double crochet stitches. So just crochet into each chain until you get to the end of your row. And that's it for row 1. We're going to start out nice and easy here, and even next time in part 2 when we get to the color work rows, I made a really long YouTube tutorial for that where I just showed you how to crochet every single color work row. So you can just crochet along with that video, and if you've never tried this kind of color work, give it a try. I think it's really fun. It's fun to challenge yourself a little bit and challenge your skills, you know. Yeah. It's kind of my favorite thing to do is like this kind of tapestry crochet style where we have each section of color worked from its own little ball of yarn. You can use up scraps. So no matter what size you're making, those contrast colors in our little feathered arrow motif, you don't need that much of a contrast color. You only need about 93 yards or 85 meters. So you can use up tiny little scraps and really get creative with your color work. I always love to see kind of a 4-color gradient, but for this one, you know, this isn't really a gradient that I did on this one. It's like, you know, teal, orange, kind of a yellow and white. It's not really, that's cool. I think my teal and my main color were a little bit too close. It doesn't quite pop. So try to pick some colors that pop from your main color when you're choosing your contrast colors. And in terms of the main color yarn, while I have a minute while we're crocheting here, you will need, if you're making the extra small to medium size, you'll need 930 yards or 850 meters. For the large to extra large size, you will need 1,240 yards or 1,134 meters of main color yarn. For the 2X to 3X size, you'll need 1,525 yards, which is 1,395 meters main color yarn. And for the 4X to 5X size, you'll need 1,765 yards or 1,614 meters of main color yarn. All right, well, I'm going to crochet down the rest of my row, and I'll meet you back here to show you how to start row 2 and all the other rows of part 1. Okay, now let's start row 2. And we can either chain 3, or if you prefer to do a chainless starting double crochet or chainless standing crochet, feel free. We're just going to chain 3, that counts as our first stitch, and double crochet in each stitch all along the row. So you can check after row 2. For the extra small to medium size, you should have 87 stitches. For the large to extra large size, you should have 103 stitches. For the 2X to 3X size, you should have 115 stitches. And for the 4X to 5X size, you should have 127 stitches. So all double crochet, nice and easy. And row 2 is what we will just keep repeating here. Just double crochet straight across. For the extra small to medium size, we will work 8 rows for part 1 and then stop and wait for part 2. For the large to extra large size, you will work 10 rows of double crochet, counting that first one here, so I have 2 rows here, and then stop. For the 2X to 3X size, you should work 12 rows double crochet, and for the 4X to 5X size, work 13 rows of double crochet. So after you've worked your part 1 rows, just those double crochet rows, it's a good time to stop and take a look at your kind of gauge. Take a little peek at your measurements here and make sure you're not making something too small or like ridiculously too big. So your part 1 ends here after these first rows, either 8, 10, 12, or 13, depending on which of the 4 sizes you're making. So you can measure how tall your work is so far, how tall those double crochet rows are. And if you take that measurement, if you're making the extra small to medium size, multiply that by 5, and that's how tall your front of your poncho will be from the bottom hem to the neckline. So you can kind of hold the tape measure up on your own body and make sure that's going to be long enough for you. If you want it longer, like more tunic length, feel free to add a few more rows here. Just be aware that you might need more yarn if you're adding extra rows. If you're making the large to extra large size, take this measurement here of how tall your 10 rows are, multiply that by 4.5 or 4.5, and that will be your total length of your poncho front and back, because they have the same number of rows. If you're making the other 2 sizes, the 2X to 3X or 4X to 5X, take the height of your first rows of part 1 here and multiply by 4, and that's how tall your poncho will be. So you can take that, kind of figure out on a tape measure how long that is, hold it up to your body and see if it's long enough, and feel free to add more rows to make it longer. It is kind of a boxy fit here. So, you know, depending on if you want kind of the boxier fit with like young people seem to like. Me, you know, I kind of came of age in the 90s. I like a little bit more oversized. So feel free to add a few more extra rows, or even just add a few extra rows on the back if you want like a longer back. The front and the back have the same number of rows. And then as far as the width of the poncho, you can hold up your piece of what you've made so far, and it should fit you with a little bit of a few inches on each side, like maybe, you know, 6 or 8 inches on each side of your body, just to make it kind of comfortable to go around. And if you feel like you're holding it up to your waist and you're not getting enough extra breathing room on the sides, feel free to make a bigger size at that point. So this is a good way to check your gauge. You know, a lot of people's gauge is really tall. Some people's gauge is kind of tight. Mine is a little bit in the middle, but tends to be on the tighter side. So that's why I always want to check with everybody on gauge here. Because even among my testers, everybody's gauge is different. So thank you so much for joining me for part 1. If you have any questions, post in our Pretty Peaceful People group on Facebook, or reach out in our bookmarked hub, Crochet Along, and sign up for the Crochet Along on bookmarked hub, so they'll email you when part 2 is ready. Each part's going to come out every Tuesday. So Tuesday, April 11th is part 1, and the 18th and April 25th and May 2nd, which is the day Crochet Southwest Spirit comes out. And you can pre-order that on Amazon or everywhere books are sold. You can find the link on my website, prettypeaceful.com. And don't forget to subscribe so you can see when the part 2 video becomes available. And this is so much fun. I'll see you next time. Bye.